get nothing. I mean, something from nothing. We believe that matter is neither created nor destroyed. Exists in three stages: solid, liquid, and gas.
And
So,
plasma.
pardon me.
Plasma too. That's
So
the fourth stage of matter.
There's a lot more
and,
than just that, actually.
I know there's actually more, isn't there?
Yeah, there's
I've
superfluids
heard of
and
more,
time
but
crystals and Bose-Einstein condensates and a few more.
those are beyond my scientific capacity. That's why I need people like you, Peterson.
I appreciate that, Phyllis. I'm gonna have to make a note of that. So
So we're
the
just messing around. I'm listening.
so now, granted, our interpretation of scripture and things of that nature differ from traditional Christianity and traditional Islam. So I'm stating these things up front because I don't want you to. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I don't want you to think that I got ice skates on and I'm dancing. If I express an interpretation, that's because that's the theology that we have. So, like for instance, we believe. As I get back to this God, but I just wanted to give you an example real quick. Like we believe that 25% of the Bible is historic and 75% was prophecy. So, like when you go back and forth, where you can obviously point out various contradictions, like Mark 9:1, where Jesus said, "There's some of you standing here that won't taste the death until the kingdom of God comes." I'm paraphrasing, but that in the mouth of the Jesus of 2,000 years ago is incorrect. But if it's a future man, then we say that part was a prophecy to be fulfilled. But I just wanted to give you an example. So I'm going to go back to the whole God thing. So the nothing that you can get something out of, we say is, it's matter. But if there's no aim and purpose to the matter, it's considered nothing. But
I
as we,
I don't know if that's my definition of nothing. So, for example, I would say nothing is the absence of matter, and even the absence of like any type of fields, like quantum fields or anything. Like, it would just be complete nothingness,
okay,
right?
well, I hear you on that, but I guess my definition would differ. Just in terms of aim and purpose. Like for instance, if you have a phone, a cell phone, and you're using it as a paperweight, it's essentially it's not functioning in the aim and purpose for which it was designed. So it would be considered nothing or dead in terms of its aim or
Well,
purpose.
maybe useless, right? It'd be considered
Yes,
useless.
sir. Thank you. That's a better word. And I am also a student of trying to refine my language. So feel free to add word your expression of words if you feel I'm not describing something good enough. I appreciate that.
I
So
think you're doing
we're
okay.
sa- so we're saying that from this nothingness, that we believe that there is a force in the universe, like for instance electricity.
So let me make
Yes,
sure I
sir.
understand you correctly before we go on. You don't believe there was literally nothing then.
No, it's only nothing
So,
due to its uselessness.
right. So you believe there actually was always something.
Oh
It's just
yes,
at
sir.
one point it was like rather useless.
Right, correct. In terms of putting it like you had the back and forth with the gentleman about the TV.
Hmm.
Those parts are, like you said, were useless without the will and the design of the person who fashioned it. So this has always been here. It's just as you can produce a TV and many various items, who can subjugate it to your will and produce X, Y, and Z from it. Now it has aim and purpose because it's from your design for a particular reason.
So I think we agree on something. Like neither one of us believe that there was ever nothing. So I guess what
Yes,
I'm
sir.
trying to figure out is why would I include God into that equation when my worldview works without a God in that equation?
Well, what I'm saying, God is not some magician, spook, or mystery. I believe that from that nothingness eventually produced the first atom of life. And from the original life that evolved from the darkness of space, that physical life is the is what God is, a
So
human
God
being.
evolved.
Yes, sir. I believe there's an
So
aspect. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
this is actually a really interesting concept. So when I was an agnostic, I worked on a theory of an evolved God as opposed to a creator God,
Mm,
because and hear me out.
yes, sir.
There might be people in the audience that think the guest is crazy, but I don't think he is. So let me give you the theory. So the general
Yes,
theory
sir.
goes like this: if you believe the universe is eternal, meaning there's no beginning, there's no end, that means any possible entity that could evolve, right? It could be that there was a point in which something with intelligence had 400 billion years to evolve, because unlike
Yes,
humans,
sir.
they could live for a long time and they could rapidly multiply and reproduce and whatnot. So we could say that, something could have evolved over the long course of time. We just don't know about it. Now, here's the problem I have though. Like, if you believe in like a super evolved entity that evolved from everything that was already here, as opposed to a creator God that created everything here, then I think that you don't really believe in God in the traditional sense. Like, the
Well,
traditionally we think of God as like the reason for all this stuff existing.
in the sense of he put under his will that which has already been in existence. Now is being aimed. It has an aim and purpose by he by the entity that controls it. So like we said about the TV. So creation, not that he created everything that's here. How you gonna create matters? Neither created nor destroyed, but the fashioning of such, the original life that evolved from the dark womb of space, fastening such would categorize him in creator in that sense, because then you have other things created from that. Like you can, like I said,
Sure,
I'm sorry,
no,
go ahead.
I'm with you. I'm with you. So you're saying there could be a super evolved entity that eventually got enough power to create, like it evolved to the point where it could create. And that's certainly like when we're talking about possibilities and impossibilities, I don't know if that is possible, but I would say this. If it is possible, I would need some evidence that that is the case, because right now what we're trying to discuss is whether or not that is the case. And I think we kind of know your viewpoint now. So, what would be the evidence that would lead me to believe the thing that you're describing?
Okay, so what I believe is that first being, human being, then studied himself, and in studying himself, this is actually what we believe that the term theology came from, the study of God. There was no one else to study but himself. So we believe he studied himself and from himself produced the woman.
Right, but what I'm asking is I'm not asking you what you believe about the God or
Okay,
the
yes, sir.
entity.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
asking what would be the evidence that would lead me to that conclusion that this is the case.
Well, correct me if this doesn't line up with what you're saying. Um, I believe that the present human being that we're looking at today is that which was produced from the God, or the first life, the human
Right, that's what I'm
us.
asking. Right, like I'm asking, what's the evidence that that claim is true?
Well, we are, and I say it from
I
the sense.
Who's
Okay,
who's
go
we
ahead.
though?
I guess what's that,
Human
Pinky?
beings.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
So
saying human
I'm
beings.
asking for the link. What's the link between human beings and the God creating?
The link is that he was the first human being.
That,
Right, but
that
I'm asking you how you know
that's
that.
just the claim, yeah.
Right, right.
Okay,
I
all
think we
right.
know the claim. We want to know the
Yes,
evidence
sir.
for the claim.
Well, maybe I don't have it in that form then, because the only thing I can think of to link it at this point would just be that we're the production of those first lives that evolved in space. But if that doesn't meet the criteria of what you're talking about, give me an example so maybe that would help me, or I
Well,
could just admit that I don't have that.
yeah.
Well, if you
So
never had heard
I,
this story before, how could you find out that it's true?
right.
Because all you
Well,
have is the story. Like, all you've told us is
right.
aspects of the story. Like,
Yes,
if
sir.
there was, if, I don't know, some guy, Achilles, really lived, okay, well, the city of Troy has been found, so we could excavate it. And maybe if, like, we found, maybe not his body, but inscriptions talking about this mighty warrior named Achilles who really tore shit up here back in the day, then we'd be like, oh, okay, so we have independently verified, part of the story. Something like
Okay.
that.
Yes, sir. Well, I would say that the original man, the black man, is the replica or the duplicate of that which evolved back there in time. Because us as human beings, we have the same capacity, but we've fallen mentally. And I think you can attest to the study of some scientists that say we only use X amount percentage of our brains. But
That
if
claim is so not true.
what's that, sir?
That we only use like 10% of our brain. I don't know why
Well,
it's so popular, but it's just so not true.
Yeah,
well,
actually, I read a study they did on like athletes, where they were trying to figure out how much an athlete uses when they're doing activities like throwing balls, catching balls, shooting hoops, and it was
right.
surprisingly high. Like the motor movements, the coordination you need to like play baseball, activates a surprisingly high number, a percentage regions in the brain, like over 50%. Because you
Well,
have to do a lot to play that sport. You
yes,
have to
sir.
coordinate a lot of things at once.
Well, I would say then, why is it that we as human beings right now, all of us can't bend spoons? Why all of us can't levitate?
Okay. All right.
DJ,
Hold on.
If,
Go
if,
ahead,
if,
Peterson.
if,
I'm going to get
if
something.
well, let me say this
DJ,
before you say
yeah,
that.
go
Can I
ahead.
say this real quick just to add
Yeah.
on? Mind over matter is true. If you take for example, a homosexual individual. This man has thoughts, feminine thoughts, and thinks like a woman and acts feminine, and you can see it reshape the actual look on their face. You don't think that's mind over matter?
What does that mean?
It means that your thoughts can have an impact
No,
on
what
matter.
what does gay people have thoughts and changes their face mean? What does that
What I'm
mean?
saying is, I've seen homosexuals think so feminine where it actually begins to change the facial features. You haven't seen that before?
I see some of them wear makeup. Maybe you're thinking that that's au natural or something. But DJ,
No,
I gotta ask you some stuff here because
sure.
I was refreshing on my Nation of Islam lore. Do you think that the moon was populated by a bunch of different populations of black people, but they couldn't speak the same language, and then a black scientist blew up the moon?
No, because of the teachings of the Nation of Islam has been mocked throughout the years. That's a hodgepodge of things. No, we
Do you
teach.
think that Yaqub or whatever his name was created all the other races like white people like Justin and myself, and that we are inferior?
Well, I believe that the black man is the original man, and that all races
Well,
came
scientifically
from
that's
the original
accurate,
man.
but
From
That's what I
well, that's
thought.
what I.
but Nation of
And so,
Islam really explicitly says that the black is the supreme race, and all other people are morally and uh, uh, morally corrupt and inherently less worthy.
well, respectfully, sir, that's not true. I'm actually a member. I can tell you what the correct representation is.
Didn't you
And,
say
and
you
like
were
I said,
new?
Yes, but I mean, I study literature, sir,
Maybe you're
and
part of a reform group or something, but no, this is just so widely known. The
not
lore of the Nation of Islam is that I don't Yaqub, I don't know,
Yaqub.
created the other races through selective breeding, and that they were like inherently evil. He used like the laws of attraction and repulsion, or he learned about that. I don't know if he used them to create the other races or if it was just this other separate
Well,
thing, but like it literally
allow me
talks
to
about
tell you,
the like evil was used to create the other races.
sir. When I say I'm new, I'm not talking. I'm not some 2 3 year student. I've been studying under the teachings for over 20 years, but I can still consider that new because knowledge is infinite. I don't say that I
There
know
is
everything there is to
absolutely no
know.
way that you've been doing something for 20 years and you say I'm new to this. There is
Well, from my
I don't
perspective, yes,
believe a
sir.
word of that.
Well, listen, I don't like, I met you today for the first time. I
Hmm.
have no motivation to lie to you. I don't fear you. I don't fear any consequences of stating what I believe. So, I mean, if you haven't met someone that expressed it like that, that's just how I look at life. We're babies compared to what the universe has for us. Babies. You can take what we know, put on the head of a common pen, and it will have much room to move around. That's my perspective. So, sir, I'm not going. I wouldn't disrespect
Can
you
can we
or this
back to this? Can
platform and
we do
lie.
the back to the spoon bending?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I was
sure.
saying
M's
mind
is in
over
the box
matter.
too, Justin.
All right, come on, Neo.
I can't bend spoons, brother. I'm waiting on you.
Well, I didn't say I could do it. What I was saying, I believe that
You said
because we're
everyone
not.
can.
No, I was saying because we're not operating on the full capacity of our mental capabilities. You remember? Because y'all then made the argument that some studies say we are, and athletes are operating high. So what I'm saying is, if
So
we
we can't
had
bend
those,
spoons.
no, I'm saying if we had those original attributes in mind mental capabilities that we had back in the beginning, that we could do X amount of things. But what we say when man fell, when you read about Adam fell, we also believe that's referring
So
to
we
the
we
mental
can or we
aspect.
can't bend spoons.
When operating at full capacity, I believe so, sir.
So right now we could, but you don't know anyone that can.
Personally, no, because I don't. I believe man fell. But that's
Oh,
what the
so you've never seen someone bend a spoon.
no. So what I believe is man fell, and so when y'all talk about
Oh,
the
we know that. Don't worry
resurrection,
about that. We know that part.
okay.
Okay.
So well, I'm just saying.
So
So when go
I'm just
ahead, I
trying
didn't
to
mean to
figure
cut
out
you off.
why the spoon bending statement got thrown out there. You started the conversation by saying we can bend spoons, and I'm a little bit disappointed we didn't bend one.
Yeah.
Well,
Some
let me clear that up for you, sir. What I said in the progression in which I said it, I said I believe that original life that evolved in space had the capability to bend matter to his will. And thus, from that mental capability, is where you get this creator God from. So, what I said about bending spoons was that if we still operated on a full capacity of brain power, I believe we can bend matter and bend things to our will today. But
How
because
do you feel
man,
about that statement, Eric?
I think I want to say two things. First, one, because you're eating a kiwi, which is green, the green screen effect is going through it, so it looks black, and it is just so weird. Two, I said it earlier, but I don't know if you heard me. Ems is in the box. I think he wants to come up and talk to DJ. But anyways, this idea that in the past we had access to more of the potential of the brain and we could do other things like bending spoons. There's a way in which that's kind of testable. So there are people today that sometimes get half of their brain removed, a hemispherectomy. Now, if we used to have access to more of our brain in the past and we could do things like bend spoons, then people who lose half their brain, they absolutely must lose the ability to do countless numbers of things, except it doesn't affect them really at all. They do a tiny bit of therapy after the procedure, but otherwise they're just basically back to normal.
Well, that's interesting. Well, I mean, I hear you, but I still, from my perspective, believe that the original status of the human being that we operated on a higher capacity.
No,
So
we know you
that's
believe it, but why would we accept that as true when the evidence says the contrary?
Hello.
well. I mean, say for instance, look at a mother whose baby snatched by a bear. That mother will chase the bear down and scare a bear off, or some mothers will lift the car up when their baby's in danger or things like that. Certain things kick in. It's almost like how you have a wire that kind of short circuits. It's on and it's off. Certain things will bring it about, but we're not in full capacity, I believe, sir.
But that's
There's
different from bending spoons. Bending spoons is something external to your body. Lifting more weight is something that's happening using the chemicals of your body.
There's also a good explanation for those. The reason we can't normally exercise those feats of incredible strength and speed is because if you routinely did that, you could very easily tear your muscle right off the bone. Most people, their muscles are strong enough to actually rip themselves. Your body just deliberately doesn't let all of your muscle fibers activate, because if you did, you'd be strong enough to destroy your own muscles. So it's only in incredibly dire circumstances where, potentially hurting yourself is preferable to death. So that little boost of adrenaline kicks in.
Well, what
I do have a
about
question for the guest, if you do not
have
mind.
Yeah, I'll be quiet.
Yeah.
can I
That
add this
was-
one last
Go
piece
ahead.
real quick? Sorry, sir. Just permit me
Go ahead.
a couple seconds. What about, have any of you been in love? Have you ever experienced knowing that that other individual is going to call you, then as soon as you think about it, they call, or feeling the presence of that individual in a building where it's between brick and metal and whatnot? I mean, certainly, if you experience being in a high level of love, there's many accounts of these type of what people make refer to as supernatural abilities. Have any of you ever experienced love on that level?
I think you understand that we've all experienced love. It's a chemical reaction that is shared between humans and most of the animal kingdom.
Yes, sir. Well, how would you describe that when you just think of the individual and they call you just like that?
It's a coincidence.
Chemical reaction. Oh, you mean if you think of
What?
someone and they call you? That's a
Yeah.
coincidence because you spend a lot of time. You spend a lot of time thinking about them.
Well, I had this instance personally.
Is it
I
a
woke
coincidence
up in
when
the
you
dead
don't
of
think
night.
about somebody and they call you?
I mean, it's a good point. Well, I had an experience one time. Well, I woke up out of a dead sleep, 2 o'clock in the morning, and the minute I woke up, I experienced a phone call from someone. I was in a relationship, and it wasn't the. It
That
didn't
happens
happen.
sometimes.
DJ,
And it wasn't just
think
one
right
time.
now of somebody calling you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, did they call you?
Negative.
Okay, do it again.
Did it again.
Okay, did they call you?
Yeah, I ain't in love with them either, though.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think Ems has a question for you. Ems is a
Yes,
good
sir.
friend of
Yes, sir.
ours.
I wanted to ask, was God in Chicago 91 years ago?
Say that again, sir.
Was God in Chicago 91 years ago?
Well, if you're referring to Master Farad Muhammad, we believe, yeah, he made an appearance in first Detroit, Michigan in 1930. We believe, so again, I prescribe that. I don't believe that God is some spook in the spirit. So human beings, that this is why we refer to it as a supreme being, the wisest being on the planet, the wisest individual, I believe, is the supreme being. So I'm not looking for God to be a spook or a spirit, if that answers.
That wasn't my question, no. I'm asking you, was God in Chicago 91 years ago?
Yes, sir. I said first Detroit.
Okay.
He was in
Now,
Detroit and in
why
Chicago.
did he pick Chicago as his last stop?
You said, why did he pick Chicago as at his last stop?
Uh-huh.
Okay, because we believe that his time was limited to teach Elijah Muhammad. He taught him for 3.5 years and then would leave him to do a work.
And why has God not come back?
Well, we believe that when the time is proper, once the mass awakening of a dead people who need to be resurrected takes place, and certain events take place that, as you read, similar to what you read about in the Bible, when the day is won and he decides to enact or begin to remove the wicked, then that's when he'll return.
And why did he leave Saudi Arabia?
Pardon me, sir. Say that again.
Why did he leave Saudi Arabia, the place he chose to be birthed at?
I'm not sure I understand. You said, what about Arabia?
Why did God leave Saudi Arabia, the country he chose to be born at?
Because we believe that leaving Arabia is where where he was born, Master Farad Muhammad, but he left Arabia to come to America to begin the process of raising the mentally dead so-called Negroes. Yes, sir.
Go ahead. I was gonna ask, is it disgraceful for God, for his mother to be white?
No, well, because I don't believe that God is some spook or some spirit. We
That
deal
isn't
with
what I asked.
reality. We deal.
We've established. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just saying that. Just the point. We're not looking for spooks and spirits. Human beings. Everything is real. We're taught that his father, a black man, got a Caucasian woman to produce a son, because America at that time was so, as they act now towards black people, it was to disguise him coming in a lighter shade to get amongst the so-called Negro.
And now my question to you is,
Yes, sir.
why should I believe that there's a lineage of black men being God on earth? What is the proof that God is always choosing to resurrect himself as a black man?
Well, I don't say resurrect himself. Let's get that clear.
Appear as a black man, like randomly in random places on earth.
Well, as we stated earlier, that the black man is the original man, and I believe that black man was the first life that evolved in the dark womb of space. And from that point, like I said, God is real. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is passed down. So just like you have a president, and when that time comes to an end of the death of that individual, then he'll pass the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding on through his lineage.
So I hope the whole Muslim music thingy in my background isn't too loud. So it's like 4 a.m. Just ignore it.
Oh, somebody's got an echo.
The whole Nation of Islam thing, it's a racist, black supremacist cult. It's just a silly idea that God is resurrecting himself as a black man constantly, and the guy that they're worshipping, or the last incarnation of God, was literally just a guy who claimed to have been born in Mecca and moved to the US to found the Nation of Islam. It's the stupidest thing. It makes black Hebrew Israelites look like Einstein.
Dude, when I was
that's
reading the
hard to
lore,
do.
the thing about the moon blowing up, and I was like, "What the hell is this?"
It's worse.
It's like a Tower of
worse.
Babel story, but on the moon.
Like their core beliefs are hidden like Latter-day Saints. It gets worse than like a space colony. But anyways, yeah, the guy's gone.
Since we